And we are back for another episode of USA Track and Field's Journey to Gold podcast. 2024 World Indoor Championships, Glasgow, Scotland. I mean, we can introduce you. I'm sure everybody who can see the camera knows that you need no introduction.
No. Keep going.
Keep going?
Keep going.
I don't want to go too deep,
American record holder in the 200-meter dash. New PR in the 60-meter dash of 6:43. I'm actually impressed by that one and what it's going to do translate outdoors. 9:83.
Yeah.
9:83 in the 100-meter dash. Soon to run 44.2 in the 400 and be the fastest combination sprinter of Lance Brahman's.
Hold on. That's because. Is that happening for real, or we just?
These ain't jokes.
I don't know about the open. Maybe. I mean,
at least
I'm not gonna put it away. I'm not gonna put it away.
All right. 4x1 100, 200-meter dash champion at our World Championships last year in Budapest. All right, let me keep going.
No, you good.
Okay, my fault. I'm about to get to your junior accolades.
I only say that because
World Junior. Keep going on.
I only say that because I went to Boston in the Grand Prix. And, they're doing the prelims, and they're like, a man who needs no introduction. I'm like, no. I worked very hard for all of those. And if anything, I have the easiest one. You just say 6-time world champion, you call it a day.
Yeah, okay. That's true. But you might miss out on the numbers, though. People like to hear the numbers.
The numbers are fun.
Yeah, you gotta let them know you subhuman a little bit.
Just a little
bit. Throw the numbers out there. How you feel?
I feel great. I ain't gonna lie. Like 3 rounds in one day, I thought would have hit the body a lot harder.
Yeah.
But after running, 7 races in Budapest, I'm now to the idea of I can train through anything.
Yeah, Coach B said he would have preferred 2 and 1, but
Yeah, I would too. Yeah. But I mean, I'm gonna take what the cards are dealt.
Yeah, you look good. I mean, PR.
Yeah,
can't complain about that.
I'm never going to complain about it. I mean,
it's going to translate. I mean, this is your first indoor campaign.
Yeah.
Full indoor campaign. Your whole career.
Yeah.
And to leave with, silver in the 60 is a huge accomplishment. Christian Coleman is not, obviously you've beaten him before in the 60.
Yeah. Once. Just once.
Hey.
But I'm going to take it.
You got to take it. So what are you looking forward to the most now that this is over?
Man, I can't wait to get back to the 200.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Look, the sad part is I'm probably going to run that the least this year.
Yeah.
Because now I've become so comfortable with the 200 that as long as I'm doing turn work and practice, I can just jump back into it and it'll be fine. And it's, of course, the 100, just like the 60, the 100 is the thing that needs the most work. So
yeah, Coach B said the 100 is for fun, but the 200 is your baby, I think. Yeah. Is that what the analogy 100%. Was given?
Yeah. I might be having 2 wives, though, soon.
Oh, okay.
Scratch, edit, control, alt, delete.
We might have to control, alt, delete that. Wifey see that on here and make sure we plug that in at the right spot.
Hey, Noah, so I do want to ask you about this. I don't want to start fast-forwarding too quickly. I do want to talk about, this competition we just had here.
Yeah.
So the whole world was hyped to see you versus Christian. I'm about to say you walked away with the victory at USA. It looked like a phenomenal race. I will say I think I saw probably 2.5 different starts, transitions, executions, throughout your races. But just walk us through that. I mean, this is the most consistent we've seen you under 6'5" ever. So talk to us about that. The competitions, I know you probably came in, wanting to win. You're walking away with second, which is still okay. So tell me about it.
The competition as a whole I was talking to Eric a little earlier, it's kind of a lot more laid back because unlike having a whole 10 days of competition at a outdoor world championships, it's 3 days. Yeah. So you don't have a lot of time to think. It's just come in, have fun, doing what you're doing. And again, this is my worst event. I'm like, anything that I'm, progressing with in this championship is icing on the cake. And I'm going through the first round. I'm like, hey, I'm just here to make sure that I'm technically sound. And that's what it was. All I need to do is win the heat. So I'll go in, 57. First heat. The problem with first heat is you never know what everybody else is going to run, So as long as you win the heat, that's all that matters. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's just keep adding energy to it. We go into the second round. What was it, 6:40, 46, 47?
47, I think.
Yeah. And again, it's like, okay, I had a little bit of a stumble somewhere in there. And I think my leg came too far out on the right side. And it was just a situation where it was like, dang, I could stay in this and try and ride it out, or I could stand up. And I've learned that if you stand up in the middle of a trip, it's never a good thing.
Yeah.
So I just decided to ride it out. And, it came out working out for my benefit. And after that, I was just like, okay, I just got to make sure that I clean that up and we're going to be fine. We go into the back and, we're doing our starts and I'm feeling great. I feel like I've gotten rid of that issue. Yeah. We come out to the final, the gun goes off and, we hit the first 10 meters and I'm shocked at how close I actually am to Christian. And I'm like, okay, I got you. We get into the next 20 meters and there's that. When I hit the 20 meters, I start putting more force into the track. And that's kind of been like a really big thing for us this year specifically. And I just felt that it was happening. It just wasn't as powerful as I wanted. And that might just be 3 rounds, or that just might be I'm not used to running enough 60s.
Right. It's too early in the season.
Or it's too early in the season. I mean, I haven't changed my training for anything that I'm doing right now.
Right.
A lot of people might think that, you're going to go out there and you're going to run, just a bunch of flies, or you're going to be trying to do a lot of 60-80s, a lot of fast tempo work.
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm doing 200-meter workouts. I'm running 250s. I'm running 300s. I'm running at the most we've done 60, 80, 100s or 60, 80, 120s.
Yeah.
But those have been with multiple sets, so I can't go all out or I'm not going to make it to the workout.
Yeah.
So going back to the race, I'm very proud that even though I didn't hit that spot that I felt like I could have, I still came out with 6:44 because I'm like, wow, there were 2 places in that race where I could have been very much Noah Lyles like and just hit the jets twice and it didn't happen. I'm like, wow, that didn't happen. I still ran that fast. I'm truly amazed with myself for how long it's taken to get here, but me sticking with it.
And to quote you to the start of the race, so Eric and I were back in the warm-up area. We're kind of,
as you know, top flight security of the world.
Bodyguards clearing people out lanes and whatnot. So I will say for the semis, I saw you do some starts, and I saw you, with that left to right action at the blocks. And like you said, you experienced that in the race. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I was impressed with is when you came back for the final, you were actually, doing starts, watching video, and still correcting things. So a lot of people, they don't have the bandwidth to deal with the nerves and try to make adjustments for the rest of the season. But you were doing that. So, why are you able to think about the future and the present at the same time? Because a lot of athletes aren't able to do that.
I feel that I've been blessed with many gifts, and one of them has been the ability to see and do. It's very hard to get your body to do what you wanted the first time.
Yeah.
But I felt, especially with working with Ralph Mann and Coach B, there are a lot of times when they're like, yeah, I need you to do this. But my favorite example is we were in Amsterdam once, and he said, I want you to be quick but slow. And I looked at that man. I said, what the heck does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
I'm like, what?
What?
Exactly.
What? I don't, those are 2 contradicting things.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I still to this day don't really know what it means.
All right.
But I got the idea that in my head he wanted me to be fast, but he didn't want me to rush to be fast.
I got you.
He could have told you to be patient, but he did some Jedi mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what needs to happen. Sometimes you hear it 500 times, but it's the 501 time that's said differently that really gets to you. So.
And what happened to you? You go out there, you fix things, you address the issues. You do one start. I look at you, I say, are you done? You were like, yeah, we're good,
Yeah.
I said, Coach Brahman, how's he feel? And he said, well, to quote him, he said, like butter.
Yeah, smooth like butter. And that's exactly how I felt. And I still feel that way, which is, how I want to feel when I'm about to go into any championship performance, knowing that might not always happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, he almost called the time all the way down to the 100th of a second.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
He did say that.
Yeah. I was really impressed at that. I was like, Coach B, man, we might have to get some lottery numbers and come together and figure something out.
Well, the thing is, you guys see that as a crazy prediction.
Yeah.
But as professional athletes, and I'm sure Wallace can know this as well, we train into shape. We don't race into shape.
Yeah.
So we know what the time is way before we even show up to the race. How many times has Coach B told you a time or an area that you're going to be in and you just do it?
And he did that last year when we were in, where were we? Where you ran your 200.
London.
Exactly. And he said Noah's going to run probably 19.4, 19.5. And I was looking at Coach Brown like, what? And I promise you, like clockwork, he went out there and ran it. And what can you say? What can you say?
And that's kind of been a hard thing that I've had to tell others to how to train. Like, because we've been getting a lot of college kids that are coming out early and they're now coming into a professional setting. I'm like, hey, this is going to be rough because you have to now train at a level that you probably have not done except for in races. But it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Just know that, though.
It's going to hurt, though.
Now, how do you manage, and I mean, this is easy for you, I think, because I've watched and observed. Your imagination is out of this world. So you're not a prisoner to the history or accomplishments at all, and you seemingly, enact the imagination quick, and to everybody else, whatever you're saying seems absurd. Like, it seems unreal. Like, you jumping in the 60 this year, you making the bold claims like, yo, I'm going to run this. I feel like everybody's like, well, his start, this, that, and the third. And for you, it's like, no, this is what I believe I can do. It's crazy to you, but to me, this is the reality that I live in. Or, like Wallace said, you're kind of in the present and the future at the same time. Yeah. Now, how do you manage that when, the things you're setting out to accomplish are just, you're literally seeking to make history, you know what I mean?
I've just always felt that I've been given a talent and a work ethic that is, stronger than most. Yeah. And I truly believe that whenever I put my mind to something, I'm all in. Like, the hardest thing for Mark Wetmore, my agent, to do is hear a cool project that he knows that I'd be into and have to tell them no because it's an Olympic year or it's a serious world championship year. And he knows that if he allows me to hear about it, I'm going to dive full into it.
You're obsessed. I
hyper fixate on it. Yeah. Because I want to make sure that I give it my all and I give it my best attention. And sometimes it works where I can juggle them both. But we always know that, track and field brings the money. So that's where I need to put my most attention towards. Yeah. But when it comes to how I believe it, I truly just always believe I know my mindset, I know my skill set, and I know when I truly put all my attention into it and I'm doing the numbers and I'm bringing the team together, that I can accomplish it. And if I don't, who cares? Yeah. Like, I want to know myself that I went out there and gave it my 100% because I don't want to do things that other people have done. Yeah. That's boring. I want to do something that I know I can do.
All right, then. So we're speaking of things that you said you want to do last year, and you can, if I'm talking too much, then just forgive me, but I'm not. You told me you think you can run sub 19 in a 200.
Yep.
But Coach Brauman has now gone on record to say he actually believes it.
Yeah, I've been waiting for him to say that one.
You don't understand. Whenever we first started training, he told us that no human can run faster than sub 980 and sub 19.7. And now to hear him say that he thinks somebody can run under 19 seconds. Now, I believe it, but I believe somebody would do it before he would actually say it.
Yeah,
so
I get what you're saying.
What is happening right now in your workouts?
That is big, too, because he's not the most vocal person in the world.
He's not. He does not like to put times out into the universe because he doesn't want to give either somebody a false idea of hope or too much pressure. He's very much, I'm going to keep watching the clock, and I might show a few people, when he gets inside, he'll show the clock to somebody on the side, and he'll be like, that's pretty fast. But Facts. I think he's, it is very hard for him to see 18 seconds. And I think one of those was, if you look at the all-time list, especially in the 100, I believe the top 5 times, besides Bolt, has all been busted for some type of ban. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whether they were doing it or not, can't be said. Some of them actually do have records, but some of them are just mistests or, some type of unfortunate situation.
Understood.
Discrepancy.
Yeah. And, that puts a lot of doubt and false belief in a lot of people's heads as time goes on. Mm-hmm. And the more and more you look at 18 seconds, it's like, that's just a barrier that's just, people are like, that can't be happening. But if you look at life moves on, time moves on, records get broken. Yeah. I am fully on the idea that somebody is going to break this. I want it to be me.
I think you can do it.
Oh, I know I can do it.
Well, knowing is half the battle.
Exactly. But how technical do you want to get?
I'm here for
We
it.
have time,
So
yeah. We here for you, brother.
let's do the math.
Break it
You want to
down.
do 120s, 150s?
No, we're
60s?
gonna do it off the 60.
Okay.
Straight from the 60. So we had a meeting about 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about a percent difference and how big that is. So we were doing my numbers, and we were taking this from the 19.3. He said, how much of a percent difference do you need to break the world record, to run 1919 or run 1918? And it was a 0.05 difference. That's it. That's all you need. And you might think that's a little bit, but when you're getting so much closer to such fast times, it becomes harder and harder and harder.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're trying to go to 55 to 50 point,
Margin of error.
exactly.
That could be wind or anything else.
Exactly. Now we're getting into the territory where we're doing things that nobody's ever done. So you want everything to be perfect. But if you become so good at it, you know, you don't have to worry as much about the margin of error because you've just ingrained into yourself. So now that we have that 0.05% in our head, will get us to the work record. What would 1% difference be? 1% difference would be 1910.
That's rolling.
Yeah, I saw 19-1 one time. I was behind them.
Now,
It wasn't so fun.
let's go a little further. What would 1.5 look like? 18.9.
That's childish. That's video
And
game
that,
times.
and that margin of improvement is your improvement in 60 meters.
1.08 is the margin of improvement I've made in my
In
60 meters.
Yeah. So you've exceeded already that 1.05.
Exactly. That error, that 1% that we were looking for has already been found.
Ooh, you be hanging out with Ralph a lot, bro.
No, this was Coach B's man.
This is Coach
I'm
B
gonna
doing that?
Coach
challenge.
Beasley.
I'm gonna challenge you on that though. I will say I know how Coach Brahman trains, so I already know the answer before we ask the question. But you've increased your acceleration, your start. You're getting there quicker, but something's gonna suffer in a race if you don't address it properly.
That's only if you let what you were doing to begin with fall away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess my hope would be you worked on your start, and I want you to continue to work on your finish.
Always.
And how you would do that, in my mind, is possibly maybe running on a 4x4 while we're here in Glasgow. All right, and to Eric's, how do you say it?
Glasky.
Glasky.
Look, we're not going to talk about our Glasky 4x4.
No, he's here. He said he wanted to look. What's up? If they called you today, would you run it?
It's today.
I know.
What do you mean? They had to call him right now, man. It's
I know.
2:40.
Anything.
Don't entertain
There's a
this
show on Netflix called Stranger Things. I watched it once or twice. So.
You in the upside down right now. You need to get right side up. That's the strange thing about this. But
Hypothetically, would you run it though?
would you entertain it outside, realistically?
I know it's hard to see because it's daylight outside, but the back signal has already been raised.
Let's go. Let's go.
The bat signal.
And the phone has been answered.
Let's go.
And the answer is yes.
All right then.
The answer is yes to which one?
Both of them.
To the 4x4
Today?
today.
You already knew that. dude.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you gotta let me cook.
Let them cook.
Why you give me a loaded deck like that?
I didn't know you was gonna jump in.
I was in here sleeping earlier.
Hey, but
I
it
didn't
made
know
it.
what
It
was
made
going
it
on.
better though. It made it better.
Made it better. It did. It did. I like that. Okay.
He said you already knew
I was
that.
wondering why you had those damn shoes on. And
Well, I had to warm up
slides.
today.
Hold on, wait. Speaking of shoes, man, I heard you signed something extremely
Lucrative.
Yeah.
That's the word everybody's been using.
Yeah.
Lucrative.
But that's
I heard
because
your
it's
life
been
has
so,
changed.
you know, the legality behind it's been a little vague. But
I mean, I know
let's
you
just
don't gotta
say-
get detailed. I don't want you to
Don't
lose your
get
conflict,
specific.
you know.
Don't get
Nah,
Nah,
specific.
yeah. I mean, it's a sucky situation. I mean, I feel like the sport has been growing to a point where we kind of should be unveiling this, but I mean, we know why most shoe companies don't want that. But
Right.
moving on from that, no, it is a very good contract, and
How long are you with them? How about that?
5 years.
Okay.
So we're gonna that's including this year, and all the way to through LA. So it's really good. It's life is generational changing. I'd say that it's generational changing,
Yeah.
and I mean I've always known I've wanted this contract, and it wasn't an easy thing to do Because I'll tell you what, if I didn't do what I did in Budapest, I don't think I would have saw these numbers.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it like that. Or the opportunities. And I'll tell you the hardest thing to actually fight for in the contract was not money, but wording.
Yeah.
What I can and can't do. When I do and don't have to go to Adidas. What they do have security over versus what they don't. Like, I'm looking at the contract, and there's some things that I own personally, social media-wise, and I'm just like, guys, this is mine.
Yeah.
And that was a fight. It was a fight just to make sure that stayed mine, because it could have easily went to them, and they get to do whatever they want with that.
Right.
But now I'm like, yeah, I worked on this. This was before we started working together. It needs to stay mine. And if you want to give more up to the you know, we want to give more money to that, yeah, we can talk business on that side. But yeah, that's going to stay mine. But you guys still get all of this. You know, what we've had already, you guys get to keep 100%.
Yeah. Now, you've been extremely blessed, obviously, in this business, but also extremely business savvy in this business from the beginning. And, I mean, where does that come from?
Well, I come from a family that's very entrepreneur-like.
Yeah.
You know, they're very much into the business world. So even when I was growing up, you know, my uncle, he owned his own RC duct cleaning company, and we used to go work with him in the summer. And gosh, that was some hard work. Like, we're literally on the tops of skyscrapers, you know, cleaning out air ducts.
I'm scared of
Getting
heights.
dust.
Nope.
Well, you don't have to look off the side of the edge. But we're on some tall buildings, and you know, it's a lot of work, and I'm like, good night. Like, but then you go home and you get that check, and you're just like, oh, it makes it all worth it. And then he started selling hair, and when he started selling hair, he started selling it a lot through social media.
Mm-hmm.
So he would hire us to get social media followers.
Right.
So I got into the business of learning how to get followers and how to get people to come back to the page.
Yeah.
And off of that, I was like, when it was finally time for me to get my own social media, I was like, I already know what to do. I already know how to get the followers. So every time I go up to a company, it's like, yo, here's my followers. And they're like, well, you don't have 1 million. Yeah, I don't have 1 million, but I have the engagement level of someone who does have 1 million followers. Yeah. Anytime you go to somebody, especially on Instagram, they only give you about 10% of the engagement. Yeah. When you look at mine, I'm getting 15 to 20%, especially if I'm diving deep into it. And if they believe that I'm like truly a part of the whatever I'm trying to campaign, people love it and they jump right in. And then that's when I can get all the other social media platforms on it, and they're like, oh, this is a full thing. Yeah. Because I'm not in the league of doing like one-time posts. Everybody knows that's fake. But when you have the whole channel and you have the whole package and people are seeing different sides to it, and like, oh, we saw you on your YouTube channel and you were doing, you know, a whole photo shoot, and then we saw the actual commercial on Twitter, and then we went to Instagram where we saw the reels, and then we went to TikTok and we saw multiple behind the scenes versions. Like, it's all a business. It's all incorporated, and that's how you just keep everything moving in the same direction.
Yeah. Netflix coming out too.
Netflix dropping.
To add to that.
Yeah, that one wasn't me. Netflix was World Athletics, but at the same time, they knew that if they just came in willy nilly, they weren't going to get the best out of me. Right. And I was like, I don't want to work on a project that I'm not all into,
that I'm not a part of.
Exactly, that I don't have my handprints on, because then I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah. Now, speaking of campaigns, we saw you with the gold cake and the gold chains.
Yeah,
I mean, it was given everything. Marvel hero, DC hero. What's my man from DC that wear the gold? Dr. something. I don't know.
Oh, Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. Yeah, he was giving Dr. Fate with the cape, and he was giving Mr. T with the chain.
Yeah.
But talk about this Paris Olympic campaign. I mean, obviously your last Olympic experience was Tokyo. That's not, one that is normal.
Yeah.
Being that it was
very,
COVID. Very abnormal. Now building up into Paris, the marketing for you has been great. The business side of things has been, going extremely well. How excited are you from the business standpoint, and how are you managing the training and the real business on the track?
I'd say that we learned a lot from Tokyo. Yeah. A lot. I tried to take on 6 sponsors that were not Adidas, just Adidas. Yeah. And I wore myself out hard. And the reason that I did that is because, these were big companies, Coca-Cola, Visa, Omega, Intel, Comcast. Like they weren't offering little amounts of money. And it was very hard for me to say no because I didn't know if this opportunity would ever come again.
Right, exactly.
And yes, I want to believe that it will, but I can't predict the future. Injury might show up. I might be in a position where all I can do is train. I work very hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't see the future exactly how it's going to happen. And so I took the opportunity. And coming out of that, I was like, I have to be way more in control of what I do give and what I can do. And that's why
it gets exhausting.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I've given my agent that job of gatekeeping, even from myself.
Yeah, Mark gets ridiculous. He not ridiculous in a bad way, but he's extremely thorough and he does a good job.
Yeah, because I can easily hear about something and be like, I want to be a part of it.
You hit me with the business. Where were we at? Paris last year? Where were we like? Yeah,
what were we doing?
I don't know. I tried to get you to do something.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, eat.
Yeah,
look.
we were on.
We're in Paris.
Cooling down.
Yeah, we were in Paris.
I've that a few times too.
Yeah, he's like,
I
yo,
respect
look,
it though.
I love you, but hey,
that's
talk
business
to Mark.
talk.
It's business talk.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to Mark.
Talk about ideas with track. Come holler at me. You want to talk about business? You go holler at my.
Exactly.
I was like, no, I respect it. I asked you that. It's interesting because from experience, I know like it gets exhausting. You do the road to Paris or the road to whatever, and you begin to find yourself spending more time
trying to do the prep
marketing, trying to do the prep work, and you're not doing the actual work.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the things that we started implementing was like media days or media weeks. So like when I go back home the next week, we're going to do a whole week of just media.
Yeah. Down week on training.
Exactly. Down week on training because it's after a championship. Yeah. So there's not, you don't want to, hurt your body trying to jump right back into things. Easing it in, they'll get a few videos of me doing workouts. We'll do a few interviews, maybe a few podcasts. We'll invite anybody who wants to come. And then we'll say, all right, we're shutting it down. Unless you are a direct sponsor who needs something bigger than just this, we'll see you at the Olympics.
Absolutely.
And because I need to train. I need to get my mindset in. But I also have to get it out of my system.
Right.
So when it does come to the campaign, we were very forceful on making sure, one, you have to come to me.
Right.
Because I can't keep traveling because they wanted me to go to LA to do the shoot.
You were already in it. Don't we?
And I can't do it. I'm in Orlando. I'm in the middle of training. I can't do that.
You came to LA that same week and then went home and they wanted you to come back.
Yeah, they wanted me to come back because I had come to LA for
I remember.
Quite a while.
Was it Men's Health magazine or something you were there for? Or something
I was there for more. I was there for a Comcast shoot. We did Men's Health. We also did another photo shoot. But we were there for a lot of things, and we gave them time, and we let them know that we were going to be there in that time period, and they were just like, no, we really want to do it, and I'm just like, as much as I'd love to do this, unfortunately, I just can't.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, and so they came down, thankfully, and we were able to do it, and I'm glad it worked out because it was a lot of fun, and the one thing I do want to talk about that, I was listening to Justin Gotland's podcast, and they were talking about the commercial. And something they were talking about is like, for him, he was like, it just looked a little corny. And I'm like, that's good. But you might be thinking, like, why would I say it's corny? If it's corny to the people in the track world, that means it's adorable to the everyday person.
Right. Because you're not trying to attract track fans.
I'm not.
You're trying to become a household name. And
exactly.
That means,
and a lot of people get stuck on that idea. It's like, I got to please the track fans. We already got the track fans. If they like you, you like you. If they don't, you don't. But guess there's a ton of people who don't even know that we're running.
Yeah.
But if I can get them on the idea that I'm going to watch the Olympics, and the person that I've been seeing constantly for track and field is Noah Lyles, then they're going to be coming and they're going to be saying, where's Noah?
Or you've already began transcending, just running and gotten into entertaining.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on that one because we have some fan questions. And
fan questions.
Right.
I like fan
questions. At least you let me know the cards is in the deck this time.
All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. We've compiled a list of questions from fans that they would like for you to answer while you're here with us. So feel free to answer or plead the fifth. Tap out.
You already said you don't plead the fifth.
I don't like to plead the fifth at all.
So the first one, literally 2 words.
All right.
Nail designs.
Nail design?
They want to know what's up.
It comes down to like how I'm feeling, what I see on TikTok or what I see on Pinterest. And then sometimes there are a lot of anime inspired nails. And yeah, I mean, if there's a color that I want to do, I'll look for that color and I'll go on Pinterest. Or sometimes I'll just let my nail tech choose.
The nails matched the helmet, which matched the jacket, which matched the.
Yeah, that was a good mix right there.
All right.
That was a good mix.
Where's the
right
helmet? Did the helmet make it home?
It did make it home.
All right.
We're planning on bidding that off.
I remember
day.
you were contemplating. You said you're gonna do an auction for it.
Yeah, we're gonna auction that off.
Okay.
Are you ready for number 2?
All right.
There's 8 of these total. Number 2. Why is he always sticking his tongue out?
See, you know what's so funny about that? Like, you watch so much anime and they always sticking their tongue out.
Dang, I was wrong. I thought you were gonna say Jordan.
and one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z characters is Kid Buu.
Well,
And
okay.
he's always sticking his tongue out, and I'm just like, yeah. I don't know. It's just become something that I like to do.
All right. Number 3. Would he go back to blonde or go back to the shortcut?
See, I don't know if I'll go back to the shortcut. Blonde, again, I would have liked to keep the blonde hair longer, but it started dying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't allowing, like, every time I would get new growth, the blonde would die out. So I wasn't growing my hair anymore. So I was like, I got to let the blonde go.
Yeah, leave the blonde alone.
Yeah.
Leave the blonde
But I do love the blonde. It was great for when it was, but it's time for a new chapter.
I like it. All right, number 4. How can we continue to get track in the spotlight and more in mainstream?
It really depends. Like, there are a lot of different ways to go about that. I can only talk on how I like to do it. My favorite way to do it is, of course, using social media, but partnering with things that are just more outside of track. I try to bring in fashion because I know that there is a big cultural movement with music and fashion, sports and fashion.
Right.
Track and field should be a part of that, sports and fashion world. We have every country in the world. Imagine if we were able to get the fashion sense from every country in the world. We would be the only sport to be able to do that. I mean, yeah, football players have people from different countries, and basketball people have different countries, and soccer as well. But it's not as many countries as we provide.
So you're saying you picked up a kilt since you've been here?
I didn't, but I heard
drop the kilt.
I heard Warholm did.
You gonna drop a kilt?
I'm not dropping a kilt.
You throw caution to the wind with the kilt, man. You get last king of Scotland.
I'm not trying to make a high jump and then all of a sudden I'm getting banned.
Oh,
There you go. All right, let's keep this rolling. All right. Is Noah really looking to do the 100, 200, and both relays in Paris? Isn't that a little greedy?
What's wrong with greedy?
I don't think there's anything wrong. I'm just reading at this point.
Look, the way that I see it is, if you want to make it onto the Mount Rushmore of track and field, you got to do things that people haven't done. And if I feel that I can train myself to be able to do multiple of each, I want to try and accomplish that. I shocked myself with how well I handled, 7 races in Budapest. I feel that I can train even better and be able to still have one more for that 4x4. I mean, I'm already planning to be in world record shape by the time I show up. What's wrong with saying, if I'm healthy, let's go out there and do it? And you can't tell me that this isn't what y'all have been asking for. I mean, y'all have been asking for this 400 forever. I'm finally giving it to you.
Especially Wallace.
Exactly. I'm about to say, we're going to skip 6 because they talked about fashion, and we've already touched on that.
Okay.
7, how does it feel coming from a track family?
It's fun because all we want to do is be around track. I mean, I remember being kids, and we'd go on long trips with my dad because we'd be going to all these track meets. And my poor sister, she would have to listen to me, my brother, and my dad just talk about track, numbers, people, records, all this stuff for like 8 hours of driving. And she doesn't like track or sports. She doesn't care for it. So I really felt bad for her in that time period. But it's fun because, one, you get to have a real enjoyment for it. You get to have always somebody to talk to about it. Like, I'm shocked with the new guys who are joining our group now, and I'm dropping names. Like, I was talking about the Borley brothers to one of our 400 runners, and they're like, who's that?
The kids who went
And I'm like,
Florida State.
You also low-key sliding into being the old guy.
No, I
It
am.
happens
I
fast.
am.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I really am.
I used to be the young guy, and then I turned into the young old
That's
guy.
a lie.
Yeah,
You were never the young
I was
guy.
never the young
You were
guy.
always the young
No,
old
you were
guy.
the young guy to me.
But I was always the young old guy.
There
to
you
them.
go.
Yeah, I mean,
But now you the old guy.
yeah, I am. And I realized that in 22
Yeah.
when I told Arion I'm turning 25 tomorrow, and he said, dang, you getting old.
God, what?
I
When is
said, all right,
2024?
you're going to be here
25,
next. You're going to be here before you know it. But okay, I'm going to let that slide. But I don't have a problem with that. I've been waiting on this moment.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And last one. So I'm about saying I wasn't happy about this either. How much did not winning in Tokyo make you who you are today?
It's really defined this latter half of what I'd say half of my career.
Mm-hmm.
If we're looking at it, I've been running as a professional now for 7 going on 8 years. And after Tokyo, I had to really look at myself and say, I no longer want to be the same guy every time I touch the track.
Yeah.
I want to be a different guy every time. Every year, I want to be a different person. And I would look at my goals. I'd still have, being world champion, being Olympic champion, breaking world records. And I'm like, what I'm doing isn't getting me there anymore. And that in Tokyo truly showed me that I'm obviously not the guy.
Yeah.
Because if I can't have an off day and run 19.6, I'm just not the guy. I'm obviously not good enough to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I have to be able to run 19.5 on my off day.
Here's something you don't know about that race. We have 2 special guests in the studio with us today. And I'll tell you, there's one of them in particular when you were running that race that said, run through the line.
Yeah.
Run through the line.
Yeah,
I'm going to kick his butt.
That semifinal really put me into perspective. Because at the time, I'm coming off of depression, and I'm like, my confidence is like wavery. Like some days I felt like I'm the man, and some days I feel like, I'm just average. And I was trying to battle this idea of who do I let win in these races? Do I say I'm the man and be able to like run the whole race? Mm-hmm. Or do I say I'm the man and be like, I can run this and slow down and still run fast? Like it was very hard for me to figure out that time period. And after that moment, I said, you know what? Forget it. Every time I do a round, I'm going to run fast enough that I will not slow down, and it's still going to be fast. I'm just strong enough to run back-to-back PRs.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm going to keep it in my head. As long as I'm just going to run PRs. That's all I'm going to do.
And I was about to say, last thing to this point. We watched the race last year, and you had some close competition. I know you have your eyes on him. You're a student of the sport. But this young fella, Tobogo, is he the real deal?
I think he's the real deal, especially in terms of talent.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say he's the only one. I mean, obviously we have Arion as well out here. And the day that I get scared is the day that they change their form. That's the day that I'll get scared.
Yeah.
Because until I see their form turn into more of a mature and professional and aggressive running style,
Right.
I feel that they'll be stuck in this chasing their 19.5, 1949, or chasing me, because I know exactly where they are right now, and it's gonna work. It works really well. I mean, I was at that 1950 speed.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was still a kid. I didn't I knew and I was studying, but I didn't really know how to take it to that next level. But the day I will know when I'm able to look at their muscles and I'm able to look at how they come out the blocks and how they're able to hold their core and their legs aren't trailing behind them.
Yeah.
That's the day that I'll be like, all right, they got my number. And I need to step it up even more.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm not going to be continuing to step it up.
No, I mean, it sounds like you just grew up. For all intents and purposes, not literally, but somewhere along the lines, you found the switch and you flipped it.
Yeah, I agree to that. And to that, I'll say that progression doesn't happen by accident.
No, you made a decision.
Definitely.
Now,
Definitely did.
You spoke a little bit about your bout with depression. I watched your special. You spoke, in depth about it there. How'd you get on the other side?
A constant belief that, one, I would make it to the other side, but also just catching it early enough.
Yeah.
A lot of people will get stuck in it, and they just won't leave. And by the time they do figure out that they can leave, you're so far deep.
Yeah. Like people feel like they're in a hole, but it's really a dark tunnel.
Exactly. And there is light on the end of that tunnel. But the longer you keep believing you're in that hole, you're never going to see the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And there will become a point where even when you get to medication, you're just going to have to forever be on it.
Yeah.
And my mom is in that situation where she has to constantly be on antidepressant.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that if she skips a night, you can tell.
Yeah.
And this isn't a secret,
Right.
She's very vocal about it herself. But, her knowing that and knowing that it runs in my blood too, I was just like, I can't get to that point. I refuse to let it get to that point because I know that she wouldn't want me to get to the point that she's at.
It's her courage in her battle with depression what made you be so vocal about your battle with it as well?
I'd say that her experiences has made our family change our mindset of how we view mental health.
Right.
It's a very normal conversation for us to talk about mental health to the point where the word mental health wasn't even really a thing until like 2020 came around.
Right.
And people were like, mental health. And it's like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is everyday talk for us. Like, talking about how we think, how we feel, the situations, why we communicated in this way. Me apologizing in a situation where even though I'm upset, I don't even know why I'm upset.
Right.
But I know I'm not doing something wrong. Or recognizing his anger is not of being angry, but you are frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And even going to a point of like, okay, where is this stemming from? Like, that is normal conversation for us.
Yeah. Learning how to develop emotional discipline. Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's big. That's big. And it's starting to show on the track. I mean, clearly, we know 200 meters is only 200 meters, and we know 100 is only 100, but you are, maturing and continuing to grow, and I think that's why the numbers are starting to reflect that for sure.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see.
Very,
it is very exciting to see.
Now, Star Wars or Harry Potter? We kind of touched on this off.
Let's
We're
go
going to
Star
switch
Wars,
gears.
come on.
We're going to go Star Wars, okay. Light or dark side?
Which one I like better?
Yeah. If you had a lightsaber, what color would it be?
It would be purple, 100%.
Purple your favorite color?
Yeah.
Okay. I went
But
to
Mace
K-State.
Windu is also...
Yeah,
he's my favorite Jedi.
Dragon Ball or Avatar?
Well, he's the brother.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball over Avatar?
Yeah.
Dang.
Hold on. Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball Z. I never actually watched Dragon Ball.
That's because you're a little young. You know what
I
I'm
am
saying?
a little young for that. Like, Dragon Ball Z is actually a very old anime.
Yeah.
Like, but because it's been so relevant, everybody just thinks it's new.
It just keeps getting recycled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they keep making, Super
GT,
and
Super GT. Yeah.
Anime or fashion?
Anime.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a big commitment, man.
You know, fashion, eventually the clothes will lose its luster. And, I could be a grandpa. and just dressing any way I want. But I'm always going to be watching anime with the grandkids.
All right. Naruto or One Piece?
Naruto.
Okay. Easily.
Yeah.
I like that. That's all I got on the anime, man. I'm anime.
Well, we started with Star Wars. We got so far away.
We did get far away, but that's
I just want
okay.
to see how far it would go.
That's okay. We can reel it back. If you want to get back to Star Wars, that's fine.
No, we definitely got to get back to Star Wars.
All right, so give me the top 3 films.
The top 3 films?
Yeah. I don't want you to go too deep into 5 and all that.
Okay, fair. Oh, like all films?
No, Star Wars.
No. I mean, like...
of all of them. Yeah,
okay,
your top 3. Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is definitely my number 1. I'm gonna change my answer from earlier.
Here you go.
And I'm gonna give Rogue One number 3 instead of number 4.
Whoa.
You were that impressed by Rogue One?
I really like it because it showed that just because you don't have a Jedi in a story, you can still tell an amazing story.
It was the blind guy, wasn't it?
No.
Are Jedi's in the Mandalore?
Mandalorian?
Luke does show up.
He shows up in the last
Mandalorian.
season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jedi or Mandalorian. There you go. Yeah, that was
Okay,
a
this
tough
one actually is tough
Uh-huh.
because I actually love the lore of Mandalore.
Yeah.
The planet, you gotta be the champion to
Okay.
be the ruler. How they got the dark saber.
Yep.
Like it's all very good lore, but at the same time, I mean, a Jedi is a Jedi.
Yeah, you can't take your helmet off too if you're a Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If you're a
yeah.
true Mandalorian,
This
you
is
can't
the
take
way.
your head
You
out.
can't take your helmet off. That's a rough situation.
I'm
man.
gonna go with Mandalorian.
the gadgets get you, right?
I'm not trying to be away from my family and not know who my family was from birth.
Yeah, that Jedi part is a little.
It's real iffy.
Real
It's
iffy.
real. Like it's so bad. Like Luke wasn't even a fan of that. Like if you're in like the past, the original trilogy's lore and Legends continuity, they talk about how Luke doesn't like that.
Yeah. Okay. We're getting deep. What else we got?
Again, look, watch Noah smile. Look at him.
Hey, you should figure that out.
Shoot, I gotta go find one now.
That's Universal.
No. That's Universal. Who's that?
No, that's Disney.
No, that's Disney. That's Disney. It's still not hard to find though, but getting an official one.
Yeah, you got to get an official one. We gotta figure that part out. See if we can make some calls or since.
But I could definitely see a Mandalorian helmet in the future.
So we're gonna see you in a Mandalorian helmet to this. Would that be the walk-in? Like, would that be on the track?
It would definitely have to be the walk-in.
So you're not walking out to the blocks with that on?
Man, if Coach B saw me
no. You ain't
walk
walking
on the track with that, he'd lose his mind. He wouldn't even let me go into the call room with that.
Well, listen, I want you to make it to the call room for this 4x4. So we gonna wrap this up. It's obviously.
We hope to have you back though, for sure.
100%.
My man.
We got more trips in us.
We got to get on your schedule though. You know how
Well, you guys are going to World Relays, right?
Be a World Relay.
Well, I'll be there for 100%.
Maybe I'll be there.
News to me.
I think I'll be there.
I like it.
I ain't know you're gonna be
That's
there.
news?
Yes.
You heard it here first.
I didn't ask you, but
Rap City in the basement exclusive. Not Rap City, literally, but.
Oh, man, wait. I got one more question before we get off. Where do we fit on your list of like podcasts? And we had a discussion about this, about people's techniques or their tactics on what they're speaking about.
I'd say that this specific one has jumped you a lot higher than you originally were.
Dang.
Mostly
like that.
because of the time helps. I'm telling you, the longer you get to go, the better the conversation becomes.
That's you, brother. You the one with the crazy schedule.
Hey, you still gotta have a conversation.
So we're gonna have to come to Orlando and do one time.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, get behind the scenes. Coach B might let us. He actually like us a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Especially Wallace. So he might let us pull up.
He just tolerates me.
To give you a number, I'd probably have to say like my fourth or third best one for sure.
Who's top 3?
Brandon Marshall.
He did Brandon Marshall's.
I'm not gonna lie. It's by far been my favorite podcast I've ever done.
That mean we stepping up.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys, this is new. To be that high and this being new.
Okay, keep going. I want to hear the other ones now. I thought we were just doing track and field, but what you got?
Nah, man, we up there.
I've
never seen any of our podcasts.
Hey, with all due respect,
good.
Love him to death. If he would have said Ray's take first, I'd be like, no, we aren't friends anymore.
No.
I've never even seen that guy's face before.
Okay, keep going.
I wouldn't even know who that.
That's
like if he passed me on the street, I wouldn't know.
Sorry, Monzavius. My bad, homie.
I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade. I just don't know.
That's his government.
Where Ray come from?
We
ain't gonna talk about that. Back to our podcast. Back to us.
That's one. We got 2 more. Where we got?
Where we at?
There was one that I did with Sidious Mag early, when like back before they were Sidious Mag.
We're coming for you, Sidious.
Chris. And with Chris that I did back in 2018 that I still think about to this day. Like I constantly I need to ask him for that interview because there was a lot of gems that I want to reuse and hype videos and stuff like that.
We got to step our journalism up, man.
Sidious, we challenge you to a 200-meter race and a high jump competition.
Yeah.
Winner is the best podcast.
And y'all have no shot in the high jump part.
I like the high jump. I like the high jump part.
Because I retired, but I can still do it for sure, 100%. I could have been out there today, low key, high key. But no, we thank you for joining us. Obviously, we'll be watching intently and intensely on your journey, especially gearing up for Paris. We'll see you at the World Relays.
100%.
And hopefully we can pull up a little bit before the World Relays, man, and sit down with you and Coach B and see what's what. We had to talk to Coach B. You know how he get, man. You catch Coach B today on Sunday, he might say yes.
We got to do a podcast with me and Coach B in the same conversation.
Let's do it.
That's the conversation I've been trying to have.
You tell us when to be there.
I got him.
You tell us when to be there.
We'll even call Mark.
We'll call Mark. I ain't calling Mark. You call Mark. You call Mark.
I'll tell Mark
All right.
that on one of these trips, when we are all together, we need to set it up.
Deal.
Yeah, we at least need
Since y'all so
90
scared
minutes.
of Mark.
I ain't scared of Mark. I love Mark. He's one of the best in the business. But
best agent ever, Mark Wetmore.
I don't want to talk to Mark about that though. We got to keep it organic. But no, we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you for
always.
having me, man.
And this is another episode of USATF Journey to Gold podcast coming to you live from Glasgow, Scotland. Noah Lyles, ladies and gentlemen.